watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Live at 4.
Welcome back.
Oh, hello. I brought fall with me. It feels like fall out.
It really does.
Yeah.
The sun makes a big difference. It warms things up a little bit.
Yeah.
But you can feel that crispness in the air, can't you?
Get out your crock pots, everyone. Let's get a look at our first warn forecast. It's actually going to get cold tonight. So cold you might have to scrape your windshield in the morning. A potential frost is on the way, huh, Jacob?
Yeah, we are expecting some frost-like conditions tonight and potentially tomorrow night as well. But right now we are seeing very nice conditions. Taking a look outside, this is a live view from Platteville showing plenty of sunshine. That's the case here in Madison as well. And taking a look at the temperatures, very comfortable, middle 60s for a lot of the region. You know, with the sun shining, it feels a lot warmer than yesterday with the cloudy skies yesterday, even though temperatures aren't too much warmer compared to yesterday. But obviously with the sun shining, it feels a lot better. Now we're going to see those temperatures in the lower 60s to upper 50s throughout the evening, but they're going to really continue to fall as we head into the overnight hours. Lows are expected to be in the upper 30s for a lot of the areas, potentially middle to lower 30s further north, and that's going to lead to the potential for some frost to form. There's a frost advisory in effect for areas to the north of Madison, but even Madison and surrounding areas could potentially see that frost. Just because we're not under the advisory doesn't mean we can't see it. So just be aware that it is going to be a chilly night. Freeze warnings further north in central and northern Wisconsin. And we're going to see another pretty cold night for tomorrow night as well. So I'll talk more about that and show you our next chance of rain coming up a bit later.
All right, Jacob, thank you. Today, City of Madison residents get a first look at how city resources will be funded. Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway unveiling the first executive operating budget plans for 2026.
Ellie LaLiberte shows us what it could mean for your wallet. Ellie?
Well, according to the mayor, the budget is the lowest tax increase in 40 years. So what that means is that the average home in Madison will see property taxes increase by about $30 this year. It's compared to last year's about $230. Now, the mayor released next year's budget at nearly $452 million today to fund personnel and services across the city. It comes after the city asked voters to increase the levy limit last year when the budget was in a shortfall. However, this year, Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway says the city is working proactively to address what she says is underfunding at the state level.
We are also strategically using the city's reserves to help cover the structural deficit gap that state law has imposed on us for the past 14 years. This will keep our fund balance healthy, help to continue to keep property taxes in check in future years, and delay the need to add new fees to the municipal services bill.
This budget also includes a new ambulance for the fire department, full funding of the Imagination Center, and nearly $2 million to help with operations of the city's new homeless shelter. Now, this is not the final budget. It still has to go through several finance committee sessions and common council hearings before the final version will be adopted in January.
Thank you, Ellie. Well, this afternoon, Wisconsin Republican lawmakers talked about a slate of bills centering on increasing affordable housing and cracking down on fraudulent service animals. The bills are aimed at boosting the supply side, encouraging smaller lots, streamlined regulations, and faster approval processes. Lawmakers say the effort brings together builders, realtors, and local governments, all working to make home ownership more accessible for families across the state and to address the growing demand for affordable housing.
The average age right now for first-time home buyers is about 39 years old. To buy a median-priced home, you need about $171,000 in income now. That's actually startling to me. So the homes that my parents were able to buy, my grandparents were able to buy, just aren't available anymore.
During the meeting, lawmakers also discussed a bill aimed at cracking down on fraudulent service animal certifications. The proposed legislation seeks to clearly distinguish between trained service animals and emotional support animals, ensuring only legitimate service animals receive legal protections.
Wisconsin's Democratic Attorney General Josh Kaul says he is not running for governor, but instead he is seeking re-election to a third term. Kaul is nearly 3/4 of the way through his second term. In 2018, he defeated incumbent Republican Brad Schimmel for the position and also held off a challenge from Republican Eric Toney in 2022. Toney is expected to run again in the upcoming election. Call told us about his decision to run again rather than seek the governor's office.
It's such an important time right now. Our fundamental freedoms, our rule of law, critical programs that people rely upon are at risk. And I'm really proud of the work that my administration has done to fight back against efforts by the Trump administration that would harm Wisconsinites.
At the moment, Call is the only person running ahead of the general election next year.
And we're learning more about an overnight shooting in Sun Prairie that injured a person. Police say at about 1 this morning on Sunfield Street, just west of the Sun Prairie Public Library, they received multiple shots fired calls. When officers arrived, evidence pointed to tow vehicles being involved. Later on, a person showed up at a nearby hospital with a gunshot wound and was taken to another hospital for more treatment and then released. Police are now asking anyone with information to call them at 608-837-7336 or the Madison Area Crime Stoppers to remain anonymous.
We are less than a week away from the start of the John Nolan Drive reconstruction project. Traffic will go down to one lane in each direction between Lakeside Street and Broome Street. North Shore Drive and Broome Street will also go down to one lane near John Nolan. Drivers can expect significant delays during weekday morning and afternoon peak times and are encouraged to find different routes. Well, look at that snow. It'll be here before we know it. This is phase 1 of 3 with the lane reductions lasting until next summer and the whole project being finished by the summer of 2027.
Tough to think about winter.
It is.
Well, tomorrow in Madison, music and community come together in a unique classroom experience. Composers featured in the Wisconsin Chamber Orchestra's upcoming Endeavor concert will visit students in the UW Odyssey Project. It's a program that empowers adult learners through education and the arts. We'll talk about their works from Autumn Maria Reed's Mental Health Suite to Xavier Foley's Soul-Based Concerto, all part of the Musical Landscapes in Color series celebrating living Black American composers. It's a chance for students to connect music, identity, and storytelling before attending Friday night's performance. The visit starts at 5 o'clock tomorrow at the UW Odyssey Project on Park Street. Well, next on Live at 4, it's never too early to start planning for the weekend.
Josh is in the 608. He's talking about a guided trail ride coming up this weekend. There may not be any horses, but there is a lot of horsepower.
And the fall weather continues. We're looking at a chance of frost in the first warn forecast.
Plus, we're a week into the federal government shutdown now, and workers are already calling in sick for essential jobs as they remain unpaid. How that could cause issues or even cancellations for upcoming flights.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
In the 608, there are a couple of unique weekend events coming up, and they include getting out and exploring some southern Wisconsin trails.
Josh Spreiter has the story in Dane County.
Well, we're hanging out off of Highway K at a farm here in Ashland for a unique story coming up over the next couple of weekends and an opportunity for you to be able to check out the land via motorbike, via ATV, you name it. This is for you. I want to start with Dan here today. Dan, you guys have a unique organization, and what is this organization all about?
It's being able to ride on private property with permission, limited access. I've talked to quite a few landowners. Talked to 70 landowners, got permission from 60 in 2 different locations. So it's limited access of private property.
So you guys have your work set out for you because you have to go out and actually mark all of these trails and connect it.
It takes about a day to scout it, to get a handle on where we're going to go with the trail. If I have to coordinate with the landowners, I need to do that. And then it takes 2 days to mark it.
Obviously, we have some examples of, what people can actually show up with and use. And I think this is what's so unique about it is this is a way for you to explore land that you normally would not have a chance to do.
Correct. And it's just a very nice opportunity on private property.
So, Steve, you're one of the volunteers here. And what is it like for you to be a part of an event like this?
It's very rewarding, first off. The appreciative of the landowners helping allow us to use their land. There's 6 different wood sections that we have to clear all the trees, mow some paths, cut some single tracks, and then, as Dan mentioned, it's connecting all of those 6 wood sections, over a course of 2-3 days in preparation.
It's not like you just show up and do this. There's a lot of work.
A lot of people show up and just do it, yes, but we've been out here. Dan and myself and a couple other people have been out here for the past month getting this ready for this upcoming weekend. So, we really want to see a lot of people come out to use the land that, it's being provided to us. It's a, unique opportunity, and you get to see a lot of things that you wouldn't otherwise be able to see from the highway.
So if people are interested, Dan, what's the best way for them to, learn more about these events? Because there are a couple of different opportunities.
Yeah, the best way is to go to the Facebook page. There's 2 of them, one Southern Wisconsin Guided Trail Rides, the other one Southern Wisconsin Off-Road Bicycle Rides. There's many videos on there, and they're capped pretty nice, and there's all the information's there. You just got to look for it.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for speaking with us here today on News 3 Now. If you'd like to learn more about these events coming up the next couple of weekends, just go to the story on channel3000.com. In Ashland, I'm Josh Breiter, News 3 Now.
Thank you, guys. Doesn't that look like fun?
Perfect fall activity.
I love seeing that big harvest moon in the background, too. It's good, just beautiful. And it's a great day outside today. With the sun, it really warmed things up.
Yeah, fall-like temperatures and sunny skies are going to continue for the next couple of days as well, but the overnight hours are going to be on the cooler side, with lows expected to drop into the 30s the next 2 nights. But again, we're going to see plenty of sunshine during the afternoon hours, with fall-like temperatures continuing until the weekend, where we will see some warmer temperatures. But even the morning hours for the weekend, it definitely will be on the cooler side. Now, as we take a look at the temperature forecast for the overnight hours, they are expected to drop into the 30s. Possibly near, if not below, freezing for areas north of Madison, but far southern Wisconsin will also see temperatures dropping into the 30s, and it doesn't take temperatures to get to freezing for there to be frost from forming. Any temperatures in the middle to upper 30s could potentially produce some frost, and just because Madison and Dane County is not under the frost advisory doesn't mean we can't see frost across the region. Now, as we get into Wednesday afternoon, temperatures won't be quite as warm as they will be today, although today necessarily not too warm, but they will be a little bit cooler compared to today, a little bit in the lower 60s for tomorrow. Still going to see plenty of sunshine, and then Wednesday night will feature more lows possibly dropping into the 30s. Not quite as cool for areas north of Madison, as a lot of the region is expected to stay above freezing for Wednesday night, but still could see some frost develop. And then Thursday afternoon, a little bit warmer compared to tomorrow. Highs will be back in the middle 60s. And then Thursday night, we're going to see more clouds roll in, and that will produce low temperatures a little bit milder, as lows will be dropping into the upper 40s to middle 50s. Now, as we take a look at the rain chances during this time, we're really not going to see much. Small chance of rain Thursday night into Friday, and then a little bit of a better chance of rain once we get to early next week. And in general, there is more rain in the forecast for next week compared to the rest of this week. And you can kind of see a little bit above average in precipitation for a lot of the region, especially for areas off to the west. But for the most part, the forecast is looking pretty quiet. So we're going to see temperatures pretty seasonable the next couple of days, a little bit warmer for the weekend. Both the Badger and Packers game forecasts look very, very good, as we'll see highs in the 70s. And then those temperatures are going to cool back down just a little bit throughout next week. Highs kind of near 70 for a lot of next week, as we will see a few more chances of rainfall. But right now, none of the rain chances next week are likely to produce anything too significant, but we'll obviously keep an eye on that. But for the next couple of days, fall-like weather and a lot of sunshine is going to continue.
Thank you, Jacob. Coming up on Live at 4, the world is remembering the deadly Hamas attack in Israel 2 years later.
And another failed negotiation today means the government shutdown will continue. Some airports are closing their runways due to no air traffic controllers showing up for work. We'll have the latest on the shutdown and more ahead on Live at 4.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
Here's a look at the numbers on Wall Street today. The Dow lost 92 points, the Nasdaq lost 153, the S&P 500 lost 20. 25 points.
Well, today marks 2 years since the deadly October 7th attacks against Israel. Over 1,000 people, who were mostly civilians, were killed by Hamas fighters in the deadliest single-day assault in Israeli history. Hundreds of hostages were taken. 48 people remain captive, with only 20 believed to be alive. Those who have been released share the horrifying conditions that they were made to endure in captivity.
I was held in captivity for 484 days, 6 months in isolation. The brutality we endured still haunts me. The images of medieval torture, the echoes of suffering, they do not fade. We were trapped alone in suffocating tunnels, 130 feet underground. We were starved, denied water, beaten, forced to make propaganda videos.
Adon Alexander from Tenafly, New Jersey, was held captive for 484 days. Community leaders express cautious optimism about recent peace talks and hope that families will soon be reunited.
Nearly 6,000 flights were delayed yesterday, some due to staffing issues with workers who are not getting paid.
Last night, one airport near Los Angeles went several hours without air traffic controllers in the tower. Chris Van Cleve is at the Phoenix airport today with the latest on the disruptions.
The lights are on at the Hollywood Burbank Airport Control Tower, but Monday evening, there was no one home.
Hey, Burbank Tower, Southwest 695. Southwest 695, still come. Hey, are you guys, is clearance open still or is it closed for Burbank?
Air traffic control staffing went to ATC 0, meaning there was no one in the control tower. Pilots were redirected to controllers at other FAA facilities.
Clearance is closed, ground's closed, local's closed. The tower is closed due to staffing. So you just contact SoCal on the 800 number in the green book for your clearance.
And flyers felt the impact.
They rerouted us to LAX and they gave us a voucher.
Staffing issues, including sick calls, hit several major airports and ATC centers on day 6 of the government shutdown, with staffing at some facilities down by 50%.
If we have additional sick calls, we will reduce the flow consistent with a rate that's safe.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy visited controllers at Newark Airport Monday, warning the shutdown would add more stress to their lives.
Now what they think about as they're controlling our airspace is, do I have to take a second job and drive Uber when I'm already exhausted from doing a job that's already stressful, to think about how I can make extra money because the government may not provide me a paycheck.
Back in Burbank, some travelers who face delays empathized with the controllers.
That's the way they have to protest, right? They have no other way to show that it's hurting not just them, but us.
The Air Traffic Controllers Union tried to downplay the staffing issues in a statement, saying it is normal for a few air traffic controllers to call in sick on any given day, and this is the latest example of how fragile our aviation system is in the midst of a national shortage. The numbers we're seeing do not appear to be consistent with normal trends, and it's worth noting, back during the last long shutdown, we did see air traffic control staffing issues, but it was about a month into that shutdown. Here we're about a week in, and controllers are yet to miss a paycheck. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Phoenix.
Air traffic controllers are considered essential workers, and they are exempt from being furloughed during this shutdown. Over 13,000 controllers are expected to work without pay during the government shutdown.
The U.S. Supreme Court started a new term today. The justices heard a challenge to a Colorado law that bans conversion therapy for LGBTQ+ minors. The attorney for the state told the justices there is a mountain of evidence that conversion therapy is harmful. The case was brought by Kaylee Chillis, a Christian mental health counselor, who says Colorado's law violates her free speech.
Colorado's law hurts kids struggling with gender dysphoria most of all. If counselors wish to engage clients on these issues, the law limits them to one option of encouraging kids to reject their body. That is a tragedy. Struggling kids benefit from access to voluntary counseling conversations that help them as they seek wholeness and gaining peace with their bodies. They deserve better than Colorado's one-size-fits-all approach.
20 states, including Wisconsin, prohibit conversion therapy for minors. The issue has divided lower courts. Colorado says it isn't targeting speech, but instead setting standards of conduct for health professionals.
Well, still to come on Live at 4, there's been a lot of confusion about what insurance will cover and what it won't as it relates to vaccines.
We have some good news if you're looking to get the updated COVID vaccine.
And then the UW system could be scrapping one of its required classes. We'll tell you the reason for the change and how it could make things easier for students who are transferring.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Live at 4. It seems like we are finally turning a corner on this endless summer vacation weather we've had.
Yes, we are. Time to pack the shorts away. And there might actually be a little frost on the pumpkin tonight.
What?
It's a nice sunny day out there this afternoon, but load up, carb up.
That squirrel is waiting for a snack.
He knows he's on camera. We see you. The weather words: frost likely tonight, Jacob.
Got an itch. Sorry, we're entertained by this.
We are very much. Jacob is out on the patio, and it's going to cool off a little bit tonight.
Yeah, we could be seeing some of the coldest air that we've seen in months tonight, as some areas could actually drop to near freezing. Now, right now, still very, very nice, middle to upper 60s across much of the region, plenty of sunshine. But tonight, they are going to cool down quite a bit. As we take a look at the overnight lows, upper 30s, some lower 40s still in far southern Wisconsin. But we don't necessarily need temperatures near freezing for some frost to form. And there is a frost advisory from 3 a.m. to 9 a.m. for areas north of Dane County. But don't be surprised if you're in Dane County or even areas to the south to see some frost. Just because you're not in the frost advisory doesn't mean we can't see it. Just be prepared that it likely will at least, be noticeable for some areas, especially off to the north later tonight. Now, we may drop below freezing for northern counties. I don't expect to see that for Madison, but this is roughly the time of the year where Madison sees its first freeze of the year. Here's a look at the first freeze over the last 5 years, most of them in the middle of October. As we take a look at the average first freeze, it's right around October 11th, which is this upcoming Saturday. So unless we drop to freezing tonight or tomorrow night, we're likely going to see our first freeze a little bit after the average. But the earliest was September 12th, the latest November 12th. And again, some areas might see their first freeze tonight, but I do expect Madison to stay at the coldest in the middle 30s, but more closer to the upper 30s. But in general, it's going to be a cool night with some frost forming, but it may not be the last night that we see this. So I'll talk more about that coming up a bit later.
Thanks, Jacob. The Universities of Wisconsin system is looking at ways to standardize some of its graduation requirements across all of its campuses.
But students tell our Arman Rahman that one of the ways they're doing that could drastically change the ethnic studies program, which is offered here at UW-Madison.
Since the 1970s, ethnic studies has been a general education requirement for all undergrads here at UW-Madison. That could soon be changing across the UW system, which has some worry that future students could be losing out on some valuable perspectives.
It was so refreshing, and it really did teach me how to interact with other people differently.
Olani Aboro is talking about her folklore class she took last year to fulfill her ethnic studies requirement. Now she's a student representative on the campus-wide subcommittee that evaluates which courses fit the ethnic studies requirement's mission of giving students skills to navigate what it calls an increasingly multicultural United States. But she says the committee was a bit blindsided by the news there could be some changes this past week by the Universities of Wisconsin system to try to make general education requirements the same across all campuses to make transfer easier under Wisconsin Act 15. However, right now, UW-Madison is the only campus requiring ethnic studies, a change brought on by multicultural student groups in the 1970s.
The problem lies in the fact that the ethnic studies subcommittee wasn't contacted, or we weren't told that part of what's being affected is the ethnic studies credit here at Madison, because this is a unique thing that UW-Madison has in their curriculum that other schools don't necessarily have.
A spokesperson with the Universities of Wisconsin system tells me the Board of Regents does not require ethnic studies or cultural diversity courses, but individual universities have discretion there, and that is not subject to change. Reporting in Madison, Arman Rahman, News 3 Now.
In a meeting this afternoon, Senator Tammy Baldwin addressed the ongoing government shutdown and talked about its impact on health care costs for Wisconsin families. She highlighted that the struggles faced by small business owners and families as premiums are set to rise dramatically if Congress does not act.
24 million Americans who get their health care through the Affordable Care Act are waiting for that dreaded letter, letting them know that their premium costs will skyrocket. For 22 million who received the enhanced premium tax credits, their premiums will likely double. An estimated 4 million Americans are going to get that letter and realize that they simply cannot afford health care at all anymore.
Senator Baldwin called on her Republican colleagues to work with Democrats to reopen the government and lower health care costs. We reached out to Senator Ron Johnson's office for comment on this subject, but we're still waiting to hear back. Senator Baldwin is emphasizing the urgent need for bipartisan action.
The family of Samuel Garduno Martinez has launched a GoFundMe to support his recovery after being injured in the Abundant Life Christian School shooting in December. Garduno Martinez, a senior, was shot multiple times, including in the head, arm, and back. The attack killed 2 people and left 6 others injured. The shooter died by suicide. He developed encephalitis during recovery and was put into a coma and remains in intensive care, now requiring 24-hour support. His next step is specialized rehabilitation near Chicago, where his family will accompany him. The GoFundMe has a goal of $140,000, and you can find a link under this story on channel3000.com.
A Poinet man will spend the next 8 years in prison after pleading guilty to homicide in a crash that claimed the life of a 37-year-old Lodi man last winter. In December of last year, Matthew Jopke was killed in a crash on North Stoughton Road and Highway 30. Prosecutors say Nicholas Nestis, the 36-year-old driver, ran a red light and crashed into 2 vehicles. Nestis was also ordered to serve 6 years of extended supervision, among other conditions.
Well, most Americans should still be able to get a COVID-19 vaccine for free. Most private insurers and Medicaid will cover vaccines recommended by the CDC's Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices at no cost through next year. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has added an extra hurdle to getting the shot. The CDC adopted its vaccine advisor's vote to shift away from a broad recommendation for COVID-19 immunization. And now people who want the shot must now consult with a healthcare provider first. However, a prescription is not necessarily needed. Well, next on Live at 4, the Walk to End Alzheimer's has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years for research, and we're talking with some organizers about those events and how you can still help.
And the Packers are looking ahead to their next game against the Cincinnati Bengals this weekend. What our senior Packers writer has to say about the matchup and how you can watch.
And the weather is telling a different story this week. Jacob shows us what to expect with the First Warn forecast.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
We're giving the weather satellite a spin this afternoon, and this is Pocono Raceway in Pennsylvania. Boy, look at the fall colors there. Beautiful. We're looking at the colors, not the cars.
Yeah, that's typical for us, yeah.
Yes, exactly. A little cloudy there. Let's see, what's the temperature?
It looks nice. Looks like nice sweater weather.
But the Menards Racing Series, by the way, has announced next year on the schedule they'll be at the Pocono Raceway and the Madison International Raceway on August 28th in Oregon. So that's exciting. Well, hundreds of people showed up this weekend to walk to end Alzheimer's, but we still have miles to go to find a cure for the disease.
This event raises money to support statewide people living with the disease and research for treatments. Well, joining us today is Heidi Neely, Program Coordinator with the Alzheimer's Association Wisconsin. Thank you very much for being on with us.
Hi, Heidi. Good to see you.
And what big events you've just had. There were walks in Madison and in Janesville, and y'all raised a lot of money.
We did.
It's known as a support group for people who are affected by this. So how did the events go, and why is this so important for individuals?
So this year was an amazing year. We broke 2 records. We had over 1,300 walkers from Dane County join us.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. You know, as you said, it's a community. So families came, caregivers came. They brought their loved ones from their facilities, and it is a support group. We also broke a record. We're nearly to $300,000 raised so far.
Congratulations.
So, yeah, thank you.
And all of that money, it stays in the state, and what does it go toward?
So it goes, every dollar we earn goes to supporting our Alzheimer's Association mission. So that would be providing free programs and education, support groups for the families with Alzheimer's and any type of dementia. Also goes for advocacy, public policy. We're now really working closely with health systems. And then of course, to fund the critical research to find treatments and to find the cure.
Yeah, and that's so important because still there is no cure. There are medications and treatments to slow progression, but it's devastating for families. What else, I guess, do we need to do to catch up and keep this disease down?
Join us.
Yeah.
Join the fight for it. Every dollar given and earned makes us closer to a world without Alzheimer's. You can join us in volunteering. Any type of volunteering, whether you like to teach, whether you do advocacy, whether you want to join the walk next year. So join the fight.
And there's some video of it too.
To see all the enormous turnout that you had is amazing. Also a little sobering though, because it's a reflection of how many people in our community are touched by Alzheimer's dementia. There's Brady, you emceed. That was very nice. Have you done that for a couple of years?
Always happy to be a part of it.
And
Thanks for having me.
You said it's very moving.
It is very moving to see all the people out there who you can feel like when you're dealing with anything, you can feel so isolated and alone, but people find camaraderie there. They find hope in others, and that's so great to see.
Absolutely. I know personally as a family touched by dementia, our name is Alzheimer's and All Related Disorders Association. So not just Alzheimer's, we support vascular, Lewy body, Huntington's, and it is a family. You get each other.
Yeah. Before we go, how can people help if they didn't make it to the walk?
Oh, it's never too late to get involved. Donations for the walk stay open through the end of the year.
Oh, great.
You can go just to alz.org/WI.
Thank you so much for being on with us.
Great to see you, Heidi. Thanks so much.
Let's get a look at our first warn forecast. Jacob is here. Things are feeling a little more fall-like now.
Yeah, and these fall-like conditions are going to continue for the next couple of days, which also means we're going to see some pretty chilly overnight lows, specifically tonight and tomorrow night. We're going to see low temperatures possibly dropping into the 30s. But during the day, we're expecting plenty of sunshine. And then once we get to the weekend, we will see some warmer temperatures back up in the 70s. Now, looking at the temperature forecast for the next couple of days and nights, tonight we're going to see those lows dropping into the 30s for a lot of the area, possibly to below freezing for areas north of Madison, but frost can form even when temperatures don't get to freezing. So any area, even in far southern Wisconsin, that may only see lows near 40, some frost could still be possible for those locations. Now, Wednesday afternoon, it's going to be a little bit cooler compared to this afternoon. Highs have been in the middle 60s today. They're going to be kind of in the lower 60s tomorrow. And then Wednesday night will feature more low temperatures in the 30s. Maybe not quite as cool for areas off to the north where freezing temperatures are not expected, but still lows in the middle to upper 30s. And then Thursday will feature temperatures a little bit warmer compared to tomorrow, back in the middle 60s. And then some clouds are expected to develop Thursday night, which will lead to temperatures Thursday night not quite as cool, as lows will be around 50 for a lot of the area. Now, as we take a look at the fall color report, this is the first time that we actually are seeing a few counties in northern Wisconsin at peak levels. Now, a lot of the state seeing patchy spots here and there, but southern Wisconsin still not seeing a whole lot. But with these temperatures being rather chilly, especially in those overnight hours, I do expect to see the fall colors change quite rapidly over the next couple of weeks. Now, fast forwarding towards the weekend, let's take a look at the Badger football game forecast. We're expecting clear skies, but because the game's starting at 6 p.m., it definitely will be on the chilly side, despite the fact that temperatures over the weekend will be a bit warmer. But in general, we're talking a very good football forecast. Definitely bring a light jacket, though, for the end of the game, as it could end in the upper 50s. Now, here's a full look at the 7 to 10 day forecast. Fall like the next couple of days with highs in the 60s. Then the 70s could return for the weekend. A little bit warmer for Sunday. Also looking like a very good forecast for the Packers game up in Green Bay. And we're not really going to see much rain this week. A slight chance of rain Thursday night into Friday. But we're expecting mostly dry weather until Monday, where the rain chances do increase. And we have a few other rain chances throughout next week.
You're watching watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
Remember the restaurant Chi-Chi's? Well, the new one in St. Louis Park, Minnesota opens today, and customers already booked for the next 3 months. Long lines formed this morning as people waited to taste the Mexican restaurant that closed nationwide in 2004. The original chain grew from one Minneapolis location in 1976 to more than 200 restaurants, including ones here in Wisconsin, before financial troubles forced it to shut down. Now the original owner's son brings back the brand, starting with the St. Louis Park location he already owned.
Well, that's exciting, and it's perfect timing because today is Taco Tuesday. October 7th is National Taco Day, and I love tacos because they're so versatile. You can make them with anything that you like. National Taco Day used to be celebrated on October 4th, but it was adjusted so that it would always fall on the first Tuesday in October. Many restaurants like Taco Bell and others are celebrating today with taco specials, so check it out.
I always overorder because I want to try a little bit of everything with tacos. Yeah.
Good stuff. And maybe you could even sit outside today.
Yeah, I mean, especially during the afternoon hours with the sun shining and, you know, the temperatures got up to the middle and upper 60s. This is what we're looking at right now with plenty of sunshine. And this is really what we're going to see for the next several days. We're going to continue to see the fall-like weather. Once we get to the weekend, though, we are going to see some warmer temperatures, but we're still going to have some chilly overnight lows for that time as well.
All right, Jacob, thank you. We'll be right back.
Tomorrow on Live at 4, Lisa Briggs with the Bruce Company joins us. You can still send us your plant questions to tips@channel3000.com. And later on News 3 Now at 5, we're learning more about Texas National Guard troops deployed to Chicago. Thanks for watching Live at 4 today. We'll see you back here tomorrow, and you can always catch us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.